All right, on to this. Cracker Barrel finally responding to that rebrand that has riled up its core customer base.
Not a big fan.
No, I think they should stick with tradition.
I get it, trying to modernize to the new 2025 world, but it does do away with some of the old schoolness that everybody was used to going to them.
I'll rant and rave and cuss about it a little bit, but I'll probably still be back there eating.
The logo is fine. Why are they reinventing the wheel?
This morning on Instagram, the restaurant posted this. We could have done a better job sharing who we are and who we'll always be. We'll also want to be sure Cracker Barrel is here for the next generation of families. That means showing up on new platforms and in new ways. Joining us now is Fox News contributor Liz Peek. Liz, it's great to see you. You know, Liz, looking at that statement, is this just about new platforms or is this about a whole new brand?
Well, I think they've messed this up and they know they did. The company has been struggling. It has been losing market share. Over the last 5 years, the stock is down about 50%. And during that time, McDonald's is up about 50%. So clearly they had to address that. I think what they did wrong is they forgot about their traditional customers, the people who come in every day. I've been to a Cracker Barrel, and I got to tell you, I think the food is terrific. I didn't even know who Uncle Herschel was. I'm not sure that was a big part of my experience, but there is a hominess to it, and I think people kind of like that. If I were they, I would have gradually introduced menu changes, which they have been doing, and I think that's important. And also, if they want to refresh the interior, you know, maybe that's okay. But I think the logo change was stupid because it kind of jarred the people who've been going there for generations, decades, let's say anyway. And it probably didn't really avail them much. And what they ended up with was something incredibly non-toxic, but also not very interesting.
You know, Liz, I'm not sure if they have a Cracker Barrel location there in Nantucket, but that's not really the audience here, right? The audience is people on road trips across the American heartland getting exactly what they can expect every time. Every restaurant looks exactly the same. There's little games, there's the rocking chairs, there's a lot of food for a low price. There's a lot to commend Cracker Barrel, and I feel like if they have to reverse some sort of, you know, a trend in terms of their stock price, I get that. But I wonder if the right play for this brand especially is lean hard into nostalgia as opposed to modernizing.
Well, I think the real key, Guy, when you do something like this is to not lose your customer base, right? What they're trying to do is add new customers. They talk about going to the next generation. My guess is that younger diners are not flocking to Cracker Barrel the way their parents did. I mean, look, they kind of know the demographics they're going after and what they need to do. So I don't really feel like I'm in a position to second guess them. But again, I think what they lost in this is a little bit of the sort of authentic, nostalgic feeling of the place. And they didn't need to do that. I think that was a pretty big mistake.
Well, they did an event with influencers, a pop-up here in the meatpacking district in New York with like New York influence. They're trying to New York a Southern brand that's been around for quite some time. But, you know, Liz, we want to get you on this as well. So earlier today, President Trump defended government taking a 10% stake in Intel and hinted he may strike similar deals with other companies. Take a listen.
I said, I'd like you to give 10% of Intel to the United States of America. Not to me, to the United States of America. And he said, I like that idea very much. We have a deal. And I just made $10 billion or $11 billion for the United States of America. And yeah, there will be other cases. If I have that opportunity again, I would do that. And then, you know, you do have stupid people say, oh, that's a shame. It's not a shame. It's called business.
You know, Liz, it's interesting because you have Senator Rand Paul coming down on this, saying today it's Intel, tomorrow it could be any industry. Socialism is literally government control of the means of production. Bernie Sanders has praised it. What do you think of this?
Look, all these things, whether it's tariffs or these equity investments in America's big corporations, are always judged by conservatives against an ideal, the ideal of fair trade, for example, or the ideal of competitive free markets where the government has no involvement. Those things just don't exist. We don't have free trade. Trump has been totally right that foreign countries have taken advantage of the fact that our tariffs aren't as high as theirs. So we're righting that wrong. And in this equity issue, I think it's actually kind of just recognizing the fact that all these companies are getting enormous subsidies. I frankly thought the CHIPS Act was a terrible example of America's government getting involved in a very profitable industry. I really couldn't see any particular argument for that, but we did it. And now in response, President Trump is saying, hey, we gave you all this money to invest here, build here, et cetera. How about giving us something in return? So again, I don't think we should be comparing this. This is not socialism. For one thing, Lisa, I mean, what is it the government wants to do with Intel? Nothing, as far as I can see. We're not going to be making the decisions. We're not going to be allocating what kind of products they make or determining these things. What we are going to be doing, presumably, is getting something for all the money that taxpayers have shelled out for this, frankly, kind of struggling chips maker. Why the government's decided Intel was the proper recipient for a lot of subsidies, I have no idea, because it seems to me other companies are doing better and they deserve more. But anyway, that's where we are. And I think Rand Paul is kind of off base here.
Is Bernie Sanders off base, though? Because he seems to like this. He is a socialist. And you mentioned, why Intel? Good question. Is this not, at least on some level, the government picking winners and losers, which is what conservatives generally don't like to see?
I totally agree with that. And yes, the government is picking winners and losers, and almost invariably they pick losers. I mean, I've written pieces about this, that their judgment is extremely poor, whether it's auto industry or chips industry or whatever. Bernie Sanders, I think, likes the fact that for once he can find conservatives opposing him and the president's on his side. But I don't think it's totally wrong, once again, that already we've made this investment. So why not extract or demand or ask for something in return? And that's what President Trump has done here. Look, if companies don't want the government involved, then don't have your hand out. Decide where to produce under the rules of the government, make your own case, and basically don't come to the government saying, all right, we need help.
Right.
If you need help, then you really also probably need to ask taxpayers, give taxpayers something in return.
Liz Peek, thanks for breaking that down for us. We appreciate you coming on the show tonight. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, you guys.
Take care.